Okay, so I'm going to pretend that you guys don't know what it is, and I'm going to take this from basics. So when you log in, you have a dashboard, and this is your dashboard. Your little face will appear here, which is great. I'll just show you that actually. This is your profile settings. You have a lot more control over your profile settings than you ever did before. You now can go into your profile settings. You can change, just edit information. You can change all of your information. You can change your email address in there. You can change your profile image, payment details, subscription, and account details. So it's all in there. You can request invoices and all those things. So that's all there. So the admin is covered. Now, your dash takes you to a couple of basic things to get you started. One is making a new blend, which is the reason we're here. Okay, you can make a new blend. You can visit the blend library, which is really interesting. I'm going to show you that in a second. You can visit the ingredient library. And it's probably worth noting, if you're a long-term LabAroma user, all of the existing, or the older, we should say now, LabAroma features are in the new LabAroma. Okay, they're just all better. Nothing has been got rid of or disregarded, but we've added a lot of new features. So your old stuff is all there, probably just looks smarter. And if you're in the new LabAroma and you can't find something in the old LabAroma you loved, it might just be in a different location. So I'll help you today find that. Some of the new features we have are compare ingredients, evidence. Component search is not new, but component search was accidentally buried in the last LabAroma. So now it's here front and center, which is great. Now, the other thing to notice in your dashboard is the last blends you were working on are going to be here, which is super handy. You don't have to go into your library to find them, because sometimes we don't have time to dig around. Other times we want to get lost and fall into a rabbit hole of aromatherapy, which is joyous. But maybe you're looking for a quick blend, or you know you made a blend 2 days ago and you can't remember which lavender you used. You can just nip into your most recent blends. So you can see there's the most recent blends I made in order of when I made them. Okay, you can really quickly edit them, view them, duplicate, or archive. And that's something to note about me generally and LabAroma. I don't believe in the word delete. So there's nothing worse. Have you ever accidentally deleted a recipe, or you scribbled it in a piece of paper and then you accidentally binned it and the recipe was brilliant? That's devastating. So I don't believe in delete. I believe in archive. So you will have the option to archive at all times, but not delete. Okay. And then you can always unarchive with me. Okay. So let's go. Let's just look at what else is going on here. Okay, so the other thing we have going on is your blend categories. Now I'm going to start with blend categories today. The reason I'm going to do that is because I don't have a category for diffusers, so I'm going to make one. Now don't worry, I'm going to walk you through everything. We're going to take one step at a time. If I go to blends, I'm going to have a couple of things here. I'm going to have my blends, so the blends I have created in my account. So here they are. They're all here. They're being fetched for me. So I've got all my blends here, just so you can see them in the dash. They're all a big, massive, long scroll of loads and loads of blends. And again, I can do everything I need to do with them here. I can filter them. So this is super handy. I can sort most recent, name, category, anything I want. There's also the LabAroma blends. Now this is super cool. So this is new. So we now give you new blends in LabAroma. Now those new blends, there's loads of them. And we add new blends every week, and there's no rhyme or reason to those blends. Okay, so I deliberately and strategically release those blends to you every Monday. It's a brand new blend. When you first sign up, you'll get at least 30. Okay, so when we started in January, there was 20, and we've released one every week since. So there's at least 30, but 30, 31 now. And they're all in there. The lovely thing about them is that you can go in here, you can click on any of them. Maybe you want an allergy, a seasonal allergy inhaler. You either don't have time to come up with your own, or you don't want to, or maybe you're not that advanced in your aromatherapy development, and that's completely fine. You go into LabAroma, and the whole aim of this is that you make it your own. So I'm going to hit duplicate this. LabAroma will check if I'm sure. I say yeah. So it'll ask me, do I want to go back to the dashboard or close and return? I want to just return to where I was. It'll automatically populate into my blend library. So you can take any of the LabAroma library blends and turn them into yours. You might never do that. You might just use the LabAroma library blends for blend library for reference or inspiration, and that's great. But duplicating them and making them your own is really, really handy. I'll show you why. If I go into this one, which I've just stole from LabAroma, which is great, I go in here, it's all there and it's perfect. You might look at this and think, I don't have balsam poplar. So do you know what? I'm going to do an edit on this. So I'm literally going to just go into it, click balsam poplar, I don't have it. So I'm going to just throw it back into the database. What did I throw back in there? I threw the wrong one back in. Oh, I did. That's fine. So maybe I am going to get rid of that. And I actually want some eucalyptuses in here. It's a really good way of keeping my base recipes there for you, but adding your own. So let's just add 1/8 cineol. Sorry, eucalyptus globulus. It's in there. I'm going to add the 3 drops. I just add it. And I have just edited a LabAroma blend and made it my own. Okay, I can save it as a draft or save blend. The only difference between saving it as a blend, oh, I have to add a category. The only difference between saving it as a blend and saving it as a category is that, sorry, saving it as a blend and saving it as a draft, that's new actually. And whenever you save it as a blend, that's fine, it goes to live. Maybe you're working on it and the kid starts to scream or the dog barks or someone comes to the door. You're not finished it, but you don't want to lose what you've done. Just save it as a draft. I like this concept because it helps me remember which am I finished with and which am I still working on. So most of mine are all, there's a few drafts there, but most of them are all finished in live. I'm done. They're saved blends. So to get, the other thing, by the way, if you're a lab canamister, is that you have lab canamist recipes, your 30 recipes that be, your 20 recipes that be in lesson 25 are in here. If you're a lab Cannabis student, you will have got them even from the start of the Lab Cannabis creation, which was last January. If you are a Lab Cannabis student and a LabAroma user, you have that category in there. And if you're a Lab Cannabis Pro user, then you have that category in there, okay? So I'm gonna go to blend categories. So this is like, it's like my filing system for my recipes. And I like everything in a box and in a home, which is great. So you can see straight away, this one, for example, is named anti-inflammatory blends. There's 4 blends. I can edit, so I can go into the folder, I can store them as favorite, I can edit them, or I can view them, okay? What I want to do tonight is actually create, you can have endless amounts of categories, okay? I'm not too crazy on the categories. I don't have hundreds of them. I don't have a diffuser category, and I want that because I want all my diffuser blends to go into the one place, okay? So I've got my diffuser, I'm just going to call it diffuser blends. Tags, let me talk about tags. So tags are a concept that I didn't actually come up with. Tags were a concept one of the girls come up with in the team. And the reason tags are so helpful is that, have you ever opened your recipe book and you remember making a blend for your sister 6 months ago? You've no idea what was in it. You've no idea what it was called. You think it was 6 months ago. It might even 8 months ago. She's standing at your kitchen asking for another bottle, and you have no idea what she's talking about, but you definitely know you made her recipe. Give me a high five. Has anyone ever been in that situation where you're like, I haven't a clue? Yeah, we've all been there. So tags are super helpful because there's times my family will say to me, can you make me another batch of that? And I'll say, yeah, sure. And then I'll go and I'll try to find it, and I think I know what it's called and I'm not sure. And then maybe I think maybe it's this one, and I make it and they say, no, that's not it. It smelled totally different. And I'm like, I have no idea. Guys, I didn't write it down. What this is brilliant for is tagging. So when I make a recipe for someone, I'll tag it under their name. So I'll call it Donna, or I'll put in the name of the person I made it for. Maybe I'll put in a distinguishing characteristic like eczema for the kids, or oats for the kids' eczema. I'll put in some kind of tag because it's the random things about your recipe you remember about them. Maybe you made it on your mom's birthday. Maybe you made it on Mother's Day. Putting in Mother's Day, those tags make it really easy for you to remember and easy to find your things because tags are recognized in the advanced search. So if I search later on, so let's say I made a blend for Donna, and the only thing I remember is that she's standing looking at me, looking at a second batch, and I can't remember what it was. If I type into the advanced search Donna, that blend will come up if I have added her name to the tag. So smart. It's one of those things that I thought, we don't really need that. And now that we have it, I think it's brilliant. Does anyone else enjoy using tags, or did anyone else even know how to use tags? That's probably a better question. Okay, Arlene likes them. Yeah, I think they're brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so tags for diffusion, I'm gonna just go with diffusers. I know I'm gonna make an anxiety diffuser today. I know I'm gonna make a sleep diffuser today. And I'm going to make a motivation sleep diffuser. I'm going to make 3 blends. So there you go. Easy peasy. At some point, I want to make something for sleep. I can just, this category will come up, which is amazing. Now, hex color is just this cute thing you can do. You can change the color of this to anything you want. Let's just go cute and purple. I might go a bit lighter. Okay, so you just play with it. If you know, if you're very brandy and you know your brand you want to work with and the color, then you're sweet. So I'm going to use that color and I'm going to save my changes. Okay. There it is. There's my diffuser blend category. Okay. I can go and edit this anytime I want. Just edit it by hitting there. I don't want it. It's fine. So why is this useful? Well, let's go straight to make a blend. Okay. So here's me in my make a blend, create a new blend. I'm delighted. The first thing I'm going to do is name this blend. And the first one I'm going to go with is anti-anxiety. Okay. And I'm going to make an anti-anxiety diffuser. So I'm going to make all of these as a 100% essential oil blend because I'm going to put them in a diffuser, and I'm just going to make 10 mils. Okay, so I'm going to make a 10 ml stock bottle of each of these 3 different recipes. Okay, everybody happy with that? I'll show you how to do it in mils and drops. Okay, so this is where categories come in handy. If I click category, there's all my categories. There's my diffuser blends. Done. It's filed. Okay, organized. I'm going to call this, I'm going to tag it as a webinar because I'll remember that I made this on a webinar. I'm also going to tag it as March 2021 because I'm good with dates. So I'll remember I made it March 2021. What else will I remember about this? Anxiety, anti-anxiety. Okay. You can see how fond, well, it would help if I spell it right. Do you see how fond I am of these now? I think this is just one of the best features ever. I'm forgetful, so this is brilliant. Okay. So I've gave my blend some DNA, okay? I've already gave it some categorization and looked after it. So let me have a look at what I'm gonna do. So how I blend is probably no different from how the rest of you guys blend. I'll do one of 2 things. I blend from a very chemistry heavy point of view, which you can imagine is not my default with diffusers. With diffusers, chemistry is always important, always. But have you ever made a blend that in theory is absolutely flawless? Chemically is brilliant, it's got the right level of phenols, it's going to have the right esters, and it's great. And then you make it and it smells awful and you don't want to use it topically or any other way. That has happened to me so many times. And it's because I'm clinical and I blend from a chemistry point of view. What I tend to do in those scenarios is, Tiffany says she's done it too, we've all done it. So what I do in those scenarios is then I bring in another oil that will act as what I call a balancer. Aromatically, it will balance it. And that's great. But there's certain scenarios where the smell is slightly more important than the chemistry, okay? So a couple of those scenarios are with kids, because it genuinely doesn't matter how good your chemistry is. If the kids don't like the smell, they're not using it. And then you never want to put kids off aromatherapy early on because you want them to always enjoy aromatherapy from a wellness and a health point of view. So I always go low with kids and slow, a bit like thick cannabis, low and slow. So diffusion is one of those times when the smell is really, really important. So what I'm going to do here is kind of go against my grain when it comes to blending. And I'm going to blend for anxiety based on essential oils I know work. Now, that doesn't mean that my chemistry is not helpful or relevant. It absolutely is, okay? So if I'm thinking of anti-anxiety and relaxation, I'm thinking of my default's lavender, okay? And I'm so not going to apologize for that. But I do want to have a look at lavender and see which lavender I want to work with. So I know there's multiple lavenders in LabAroma because there's multiple, lavender comes from multiple countries. So the first thing I want to do is go and just look which one I really want. And I know I want high levels of esters. Esters are my perfume family, okay? They're aromatically divine and beautiful. So I'm just going to save this as a draft, okay? I've left my DNA on it. It's got a name, a category, it's got a tag. I'm going to save it as a draft, okay? It's saved as a draft. There it is in draft format. So I'm going to run over here to my compare search. I'm going to go to my compare search tool and I'm going to look for lavender. And I am going to get my lavenders from different countries. So if I just apply, I'm also going to check lavandin, guys, and see how I feel about lavandin in this blend. Now you can compare up to 5 different essential oils in LabAroma. But I just want to sort of get some idea as to where we sit chemistry. So if I've got a Bulgarian lavender and a French lavender and then an Italian lavandin, it's a bit of variety. Price-wise, there's not much difference. That's not going to really be a factor. Therapeutically, you know, we know lavender is so helpful. There's central nervous tonic, it's sedative. It's going to help with easing that kind of trauma and tension we all have in life. So side by side, the esters are strong, okay? So these are my esters. You can see here, esters are purple, 41% in my Bulgarian lavender. My French lavender is 50%. And then my lavender is 41.1. So I said I wanted high esters. So at the minute, my French lavender is winning. Okay. It's so easy to see them side by side like this. And if you're a visual learner, this is a dream because you've got colors. So esters are here and they're brilliant. Oxides are in there at 3%, which is quite high. Now my monoterpenes are at 34, which again is higher than the other two lavender options. So let's see in more detail what's going on here. Linalool acetate is my compound that's at 42. Linalool is at 27. Beta-carotene is at 4, which is great. It's nice. 1,8-cineols in there, which is good too. We've got carotene. I'm going to go with my French lavender. So I'm going to go with it because I wanted my esters. So I'm still considering the chemistry, even though I know that I want the aroma to be my primary importance. But I know from a chemistry point of view, it's esters that are going to give me more likely the most perfume or the most flavorable aroma. Okay. Favorable aroma. So I'm going to go with my French. I'm going to go with my French. Now, what do I do with that? Instead of me running back to my blend and then finding the lavender and putting the lavender in, life is easier now. You just find my existing blend. So I had called this blend my anti-anxiety. So if I start to type, there it is, anti-anxiety diffuser. I'm going to put it in at 5 mils. I'm going to make it half my blend, okay? I can add it to my selected blend. I can also add to favorites, guys, if I wanted to, and I can add it to a brand new blend. I don't need to add it to a new blend because I've already started to create this blend. So what do you say? This is for magic. If I hit add to selected blend, voila. Up pops my blend. I'd already started and the lavender has been populated in 5 mil. Okay. My chemistry started to be populated. I can see it's going to be helpful for the digestive system, the neurological system, the skin. It's going to be balancing and calming, which is exactly what we want. Okay. How easy is that? So that is a great way to even start building a blend and to make your first choice by still considering the chemistry. Okay. So next step, I've got my lavender. I'm really happy. I think this is great. I can see all my chemistries in here. I can see how it's going to help. It's going to be a top middle blend or top middle note blend. It's all starting to populate. Lovely. And this is another thing with LabAroma. In the past, when you added in your oils, you had to make your blend, then hit calculate and get your chemistry results. Now you can see them real time, which is super helpful because if you can see them real time, you can take things out and add things in as you go. So you don't have to wait to the end and then try to backtrack. Okay. So the other one I'm going to go with, and I'm taking this oil off the top of my head, which we all have the ability to do as aromatherapists, okay? I'm going to find frankincense. So I want frankincense for anti-anxiety. And when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of nearly like daytime anxiety. You know, whenever you're sitting at the desk, especially at the minute, when we're sitting at the desks and the kids are here and everyone's there, or your partner's down the hall working as well, and homes become a bit manic, where you used to escape from home to go to work, not anymore. So this is my daytime anti-anxiety. I can get through this, you know, this is a temporary. This is my daytime supporter. So I could do the same thing with these frankincenses. I could put them into compare search, see them side by side and see how I feel about them. Or I could just go with my Cartier and say, I'm going to go with this one. But actually, I can't remember. What's the content of this? Like, what's my chemistry? If I click on it, it'll open in a separate tab for me. Okay. So my blend's still in my first tab. Nothing's ran away. Everything's safe and secure. My second tab, my frankincense is opened up. And here I have all this information. So this is our information sheet for frankincense. It is a lot more expensive than lavender. It's more than twice the price. All my therapeutic properties are there. Emotionally, it's going to encourage emotional healing, support reflection, bring peace and calm, especially during meditation, used for anxiety, feelings of panic, deep-rooted fear, nervousness, sleep problems, having difficulty letting go, grief, mourning, crisis, and encourages transformation. Okay, so there's no rocket science to my decision with frankincense, guys. I just know from experience, frankincense is going to be brilliant for anxiety. It's going to really help. Okay, lean into that. Okay, don't doubt your own experience. It's really important. Your experience is very personal and it's very valid. So don't ever hesitate to go with it. And sometimes, even if you're not sure and your gut is saying go with frankincense, just go with it. Our gut instinct knows best. Okay, so just a thing to point out on this sheet. Okay, we have new data in LabAroma, which is very exciting. So some of the new data is synergistic data, and Jennifer Peace-Rind, who's amazing, worked with us on this, and Jennifer wrote synergistic information for 50 of the most common essential oils in LabAroma. Now, let me just explain this to you. Some of you might never want this, and others might find it immensely beneficial. Okay, These tooltips, guys, are super helpful. When you see these little question marks across the software, open them up and have a read. They're really, really handy. So I'm going to look at this first one, synergy. This information serves to identify potential synergistic interactions between essential oils, which could help inform blend construction. Okay. So you could be in here and you could look at this and say, oh, let's have a look at what we could do with frankincense. Like, this is going to open up your mind to how frankincense blends with other oils. So I'll explain how this works. So the first one is apinine, and Jennifer looks at the chemistry of frankincense contains apinine, aphalodrine, limonene, b-myrcene, and so on. These are therapeutic properties of those compounds, okay? Then she looks at some of the essential oils that are primary combinations. You could combine any of these, focusing on these chemical compounds. And then she gives you one or two synergistic options, okay? So you could look at one and say, this is brilliant. You can see that first one is very pine focused and deep rooted, like nutmeg, black pine, black pepper, it's heavy. The other one is rosemary, palo santo, orange, bergamot, cannabis. It's brighter if you want. But what Jennifer then gives you is these traditional synergy therapeutic potentials psychologically and physically. So you can look at this and say, okay, so if I blend, let's say I stick with black pepper, let's pick three of these, black pepper, nutmeg, Siberian pine, okay? I can work with these on a psychological level to have mood elevation, cognitive enhancement, stress, and all of those things. Those are the oils that'll blend to do that, okay? Super helpful. If you're a fan of Jennifer's work, and Jennifer's amazing, then that information is going to be incredibly helpful. Her brain's amazing, her books are amazing. To have that knowledge in LabAroma is just such a gift, guys. It's amazing. So that's there. Now, I want to look at the chemistry of frankincense, which is why I'm in here. Apinine is 44%. So immediately, and if you hover over, you'll get a wee bit of information about apinine, a wee bit of therapeutic property. So anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal, antispasmodic, and antiviral. That's very physical, whereas we're looking at psychological. That's okay. You know, that's fine. It's just there for you. But know that apinine is very grounding. So think of a pine tree, deep-rooted, grounded, okay? And that's what we want when we have anxiety. We don't want to get carried away in our anxiety, okay? Esters are 11%, which is great. Ethers are 11%, which is great. And we still have esters in there at nearly 2, which is brilliant. And if you want to look, you can open up your esters, find out what an ester is if you want to recap, or you're learning what essential oils is it typically in and what are the compounds that are popular within the ester family. Now, if you want to look at which esters are in here, there you go. There's your ethers. Your esters are down here, okay? So you can see all of your chemistry under your families. So I'm good. I know I want it. It's meditative and balancing, so I am delighted. It is absolutely perfect. It's going in my blend. So I'm going to put it in there at 3 ml. No, 3. Okay, so I'm going to add it in. Now, the other one I want to add in, guys, is orange. Okay, now you might be thinking, anxiety, orange? I have a very strong theory on orange. It's not my theory. I'm sure some genius aromatherapists come up with it before me. Orange essential oil in, I'm going to go with sweet orange actually. Sweet orange essential oil in an anxiety blend helps bring sunshine. Okay, think of orange being bright and orange like the sun. It brings sunshine. Okay, and when we're anxious, we can get very dark and we can get worked up in our own overwhelm. And the lovely thing with orange is it brightens that up and takes away that veil of fear and panic and anxiety. So I always like a citrus, and you can use bergamot, lime, yuzu, grapefruit, any of those. I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to keep with sweet orange, and I'm going to drag it in, and I'm going to put in 2 ml. Okay, and I'm going to add that. Very simple, guys. It's a 10 ml stock bottle for a diffuser blend, which is perfect. Now, Chris says it's also good for irritation. Yes. And I get very irritable when I'm anxious. So Chris, you must know me well. Orange helps lift that, okay? And sometimes we can default, guys, when we're trying to deal with things like anxiety, you might think, okay, we need to focus and we need to like calm down. And you might go with your heavy sedative oils like lavender and whole wood and, you know, pine, and you might like really think about. Sometimes we just need to lighten things up a bit. So that's why I put orange in there. Now, the lovely thing about this is, and just to give you a quick tip, if you are a visual learner and the colors are useful, the essential oils will be colored according to the chemical family that they're most represented by. So we have seen that esters is the biggest chemical family in lavender. Esters within LabAroma are purple. Then the monoterpenes are strongest in both of these oils, and they're yellow, okay? That's just a tip that might be super useful, okay? So here's my blend. I'm sweet. Now this is defaulted to 50 mils, 30 mils, and 20 mils. And you might be thinking you only want to make a 10 mil stock bottle. You need to set the rules in your blend bar. So I need to change that to a 10 mil. Okay, there we go. And it default changes. Now, this is perfect. I've looked at this now. It's going to have an impact on the skin, neurological, or digestive, neurological. That's perfect. Balancing, calming, meditative. Perfect. Did you notice when I had added in lavender on its own, the third one was energizing? I didn't want that. I've got now balancing, calming, meditative, which is perfect. And I now have a nice, I have a nice aroma, scent note. I have one top oil, one top middle, and a base. So I needed the frankincense for the grounding. You could swap it out for a pine if you wanted, okay? So, perfect, £2, $2.24. We can handle that. You can change it to whatever currency you're in here, and you can change this to drops, guys. So if you're a dropper, then there you go, okay? 130 drops of your lavender, 78 of your frankincense, 52 of your orange, okay? You can weigh it either, you can do it in ounces. What I love about LabAroma is that if you save this and it's great, and maybe it comes to Thanksgiving time or Christmas, and you have loved this blend all year, and you decide, I'm going to gift this to my girlfriends for Christmas, you literally go back in here. You might need to make, let's say you're giving it to 10 people. Let's say you're giving it to 20 people. You might change this to 200. It's a lot of friends. 200 mils. I'm probably going to weigh that at that point, 200 grams. This will change for you. Put your drops back to grams, and there it'll tell you how to weigh it out. So simple. So you can scale up and scale down really easily. A couple of other things. Your chemistry is there. Okay. So again, you can open up any of these and view more information on the chemical family if you want. All of your components are in there, which is great. This is all your blend data. We tell you here which oils have contributed to this decision. Okay. So I'll just read this to you. This ranking system serves to indicate the effectiveness of your blend on the mind. Each oil has received a ranking between 1 to 3 for its effect on the relevant mood. 1 being the strongest, 3 being the mildest. Okay, so you can see frankincense and lavender have been equated to a 3 for balancing, and orange has got a 2. Now we know by energizing, orange is a 2, lavender is a 2. Okay, all that information is in there to help inform your decisions. You can add notes to this, because if you do gift it to a client or to someone, you can add in aftercare advice, usage guidance, anything you want. And you can also upload files. Maybe you're putting up in a thank you card with it, or a GC for an oil, or a case study data, whatever you want to do. Now, I'm going to save this and then show you another very quirky thing. Oh, I started writing. LabAroma won't let you make a mistake, by the way. So don't worry about calculating percentages and all of those things and worrying about the math. If you've done it wrong, LabAroma will tell you. Okay, there's a wee red bar appears. It's saying to me that I started a scent note and didn't finish it. Oops, got scolded. Save blend, done. This is going to go straight into my library. And the other place, guys, it's going to go is into my blend categories. And here I go in my diffusing blends. I have one blend. Let's go back out of that. It's going to load. And I have got my anti-anxiety blend. Now, something else I want to show you. If you click this arrow once you've finished a blend, you can download a PDF. So we could always do this. It's just got a bit cuter. So download PDF. You can download everything. So you can download everything, or you can select whether you just want to download your lab, your blend lab, your chemical families, your chemical breakdown, your compliance warnings, your effects, and your blend notes. When I give these to clients, I literally only give them the blend and the notes. That's the only thing I give them. I'm going to confirm what this looks like, and I'm going to show you what a PDF looks like, because they got a huge facelift as well. I think I have to do a separate share to do this. I do. You guys, you can't see that, can you? I don't think you can see that. Let me see. I'll do a second share in case you can't. I don't think you can. Nope. Okay. 1 second, guys. Here we go. This is what it looks like. There you go. So there's your lab. There's your blend. And there's notes there if I ever had added any notes. So it looks different, and it looks a lot smarter and a lot more compact and neat, which was the entire aim. Okay. So that's that. Will we make 2 more recipes? Now, the other thing I want to show you with making a diffusion blend is your ingredients. So your ingredient library is in here. My ingredients is when you make an ingredient. So when you add new ingredient, you get this blank slate. So if maybe you grow and distill, maybe you have a local farmer, maybe you got a GC and a new oil and you're so excited and you want to blend with it accurately in LabAroma, you just fill out all this data. Make sure you select your material type to be essential oil. You can't add synergistic because Jennifer's the expert who writes that. You can't add evidence because it's evidence and we load it. But energetics we've allowed you to write. Now energetics is the energy behind the oil. And the reason we allow you to add that data is because that's a personal experience. You know, it's very personal. I could say that rose to me helps with deep-seated emotional pain, but for you, rose might just be uplifting. You know, it's very personal. So energetics is personal, so you get to write that. You start to type the chemistry from the GC. We help you by spelling it because chemistry is not easy to spell. You add your amount, you add your percent, you have full control over creating your own entire ingredient, which is great. If you don't want to do that, you never want to do that, you have the LabAroma library. Okay, now the LabAroma library is huge. You've got different categories. You have essential oils, extracts. So essential oils by tradition are distilled plant material. Okay. Then extracts are extracted plant material. So think of CO2 extraction, mechanical extraction, solvent extraction. I have cannabis strains in there. I have CO2s in there, lots of cool different things. Carrier oils are carrier oils. And then herbal is anything that isn't in the previous categories. So think of hydrosols, clays, powders, like things like yarrow root powder, loads of things like that, loads of hydrosols that are all organized, tinctures. So herbal materials that you would want to use in aromatherapy blends that aren't essential oils, extracts, or carrier oils. And then cosmetic is new. So cosmetic is like those basic cosmetic ingredients we all need to make aromatherapy products. Things like butters, waxes, soap, citric acid, aloe vera, those core things, glycerin, alcohol, all of those things, water even, that we need to help make our formulas. And then favorites is any that you have starred. Okay, so I can unfavorite anything by just clicking the favorite. It still goes back, it stays in your lab. I think I've done the LabAroma library. Let me check, yes. So I can unfavorite there and it'll just lose its star, which is great. So you can view any ingredient in there just by clicking on them, going in and having a look. And that is a great way to also help inform your blending decisions. But what I'm going to do before we jump into Q&A is build 2 more recipes. So I want to build a sleep diffuser. And I typically have only started diffusing pre-bed this year. I mean, I don't mean this 2020, I mean 2021, so the last couple of months. Partly because I sleep like a baby, but I've just got into this really nice routine at night where I don't necessarily diffuse for sleep at night because I don't sleep. It's nearly become just like a bedtime routine and it is beautiful. And that smell now, so I'm going to give you my recipe, I've wrote it down here. That smell that I burn has just become like sentimental to me at bedtime and it's beautiful. Now, the first oil I use, so sorry, let me categorize this. I'm going to go straight into diffusers. Sandalwood is my baby in this. And I had new sandalwood in a long time because I got it from Australia and that was dangerous and conservation conscious is a thing. So, but now I'm fine and I get my sandalwood from India and it's fine. So I use 3 beautiful oils and I use them in equal measure, which I'm going to have to divvy up a wee bit now. I use sandalwood, patchouli and marjoram, okay? And they are gorgeous. Now, let me get my sandalwood. So I'm literally going to go grab these. Sandalwood. There we go, sandalwood rare, which is gorgeous. I normally use these in equal parts, so three drops each at night, but because I'm making a 10 ml stock bottle, I'm going to give sandalwood the extra drop, okay? So I'm going to go 4 mils on my sandalwood. Now my patchouli, so see my chemistry pops up immediately. We can straight away see it's meditative, balancing and sensual, which is not the aim before you all start getting smart. It helps, but it's not the aim. So then we got patchouli. So patchouli, where are you? Am I blind? Palo Santo would be a good substitute either if you wanted, or you could add it in, okay? So we can do that actually if you would like me to. I love Palo Santo. Patchouli and then marjoram. Now marjoram is not an oil I use a lot, I have to admit, but I was writing a blog recently about diffuser blends and my marjoram, I was working with the oils as I was making all the recipes. There's 10 or 11 recipes in that new blog. And as I was working on that recipe, and some of these recipes are in there because they're my recipes. As I was working on them, this Spanish marjoram was just there and it smelled divine. I've had it for a while. I'm sure I've had it for 2 years and it was beautiful. So I'm using it a lot now and it's gorgeous, but it's really nice at night. So that's really simple. So if I want to change that and I did want to add Palo Santo, which now that I see it in LabAroma, I think I might want to add it in. I might try that tonight. I'm going to add it in. I want to stick to my stock bottle of 10 mils. So I'm just going to add it in at 2. It means I need to take 2 out of somewhere. So I'm going to take this down to 3. And I'll take my patchouli down to 2. Okay. There we go. So I've got my 10 ml stock bottle, 100% essential oil. It's expensive because my sandalwood's so expensive. That's beautiful. I think I should have added Palo Santo to that a long time ago, actually. I'm going to try that tonight. Now, one thing I want to show you guys is, let's say you're using this and it's absolutely divine and you couldn't be happier with it and you want to turn it into a massage oil. A really, really easy way of doing that in LabAroma is take this, your essential oil concentration, way down. So let's take it down to 3, okay? Dramatically reduced. Let's make a 50 ml massage oil. So you see there's all this huge amount of space now. So I took this down to 3. So there's like 47 ml of empty space in my blending jar. I'm going to go in and grab a carrier oil. I'm just going to go with jojoba, a nice massage oil, and nothing too fancy. Doesn't always have to be so elegant and extravagant. And my oils are already expensive, although they've dramatically dropped now because it's not pure essential oil. And I'm going to add that. Let my jar fill up. And I now have, where did that go? There we go. I now have my jojoba at 47 mils, all of my essential oils in there, 3% essential oil, 50 ml blend. My price dropped dramatically to 127, which is a lot more affordable. My chemistry is all there. Remember, my chemistry will only total 3% because it's only 3% represented from the essential oils. And how are we behaving? We're balancing meditative, sensual, and calming. Perfect. Skin, immune, infectious. Amazing. Perfect. So that's how you add a carrier oil to it. Now, I'm going to be loyal to my webinar and stick with diffuser blends. I'm going to throw that back in there. Sorry, let me just do this. I'm going to put this back up to 100. I'm going to get rid of my jojoba. Why would my jojoba not go in there? Let me get rid of, there we go. Let's get rid of jojoba. Don't do this to me. I made it too small now. Hold on. Let me grab it, guys. Okay, so jojoba, you can go away. There we go. Put this back up to 100%. And I'm back to diffuser blend again. And I'm back to my silly price. Well, Palo Santo brought the price down, which is good. So that 50 mils, let's take this down to 10. That is my diffuser. Would you like one more, guys, before I jump into Q&A? Yeah? Would we like one more? Okay, good. Let me save this one. I'm actually going to call this sleep diffuser. See how addicted I am to these tags. Palo Santo. What else am I going to call this? Spanish marjoram. Do you know sometimes you have an oil and you need to use it up and you don't know how? If you just put into your advanced search the name of that oil, anywhere where it's being used, you're going to find it. I'll actually do that for you guys now and show you. So that's it, saved, done, winning. So actually, I'll just do that. So if I go to Palo Santo, let's just do marjoram actually. So if I go to marjoram, it might have to be, so there you go. So my advanced search will search a couple of things. It'll search all the ingredient library, the blend library, and evidence. So there's 74 searches for marjoram. That's a lot of data. So here's all the marjorams in LabAroma. Now, the sleep diffuser there that I just made because Spanish marjoram was tagged. Amazing. Now, the reason it's in there in lemon is because maybe marjoram is mentioned in that lemon as being a nice synergistic blend. You wouldn't expect helichrysum to come up when you type marjoram, but at some point in the information sheet, it must be referred to. It is a wealth of data that you can grab. Okay, I'm aware of time, so I'm going to go real quick and do another one. Let's see. So I'm going to do, let's do motivation actually. Because I think we all need a wee bit at the minute. COVID's wearing us all out a wee bit. Diffuser. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just wearing me out and you're all happy as Laura. Okay, so we've got motivation. I'm going to go with diffuser again. And let me grab my motivation blend. I don't like to lie to you. I like to give you the accurate one. Yes. So I am going with a really, really basic. So I have 2 motivation blends, my latest recipe, my latest blog. I'm going to go with a more basic one, guys. Basil. Love, love, love basil. I'm just going to go with my Egyptian basil. I'm going to do this pretty even as well. So I'm going to go 3 mils. I didn't set my rules. Let me do that. So 10 mils, because that's my stock bottle, 100% essential oil. Now my next one I'm going to do is ginger. Love ginger for motivation. It's just bright, isn't it? Ginger just keeps you alive. It's bright. And then the last one I'm going to put in is rosemary, obviously. I really like this one. I've started burning this one about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, you've just 2 or 3 hours left in the day and it's getting a bit sluggish. Then this is lovely. I was burning it today about 1 because I was feeling a bit sluggish early. And then I'm going to put 4 in here, okay? So I've got 4 mils of my rosemary, 3 of ginger, 3 of basil. Equally, it can just be, if you're doing a one-off diffuser, 4 drops of rosemary, 3 of ginger, 3 of basil. And that is yours. Like, that's so affordable for a 10 ml stock bottle, 182. It's amazing, okay? Chris says, do you like steam distilled or CO2 of ginger? Chris, you're making me choose between your plants. I prefer the CO2. I don't have any at the minute. I've only got the essential oil. By a long shot, okay? So the CO2 of ginger blew my mind when I smelt it in France 3 or 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. I always loved ginger essential oil until I smelt the CO2. Has anyone else smelt the CO2 of ginger? It is like putting your nose in the root of a ginger plant. It is incredible. More so than the essential oil. It doesn't even compare, if I'm honest. So for that reason, it is divine, okay? So thank you, Chris, for making me pick my favorites. That is a beautiful balanced blend. There's no base in there, which we don't want in a motivation diffuser. And that is it. It is that simple, guys. But you could play and explore endlessly. Energizing, sensual, balancing, calming, but certainly not meditative. Okay? Safe. Now, how did we feel about that? Let me grab some Q&A. Do we have Q&A? Does anyone have any substitutions they would love to make? Does anyone have any questions? Sorry, one thing I will show you while I have Enya. Throughout LabAroma, there is locations where you can view a tutorial video. Now, the reason that's super useful is because LabAroma is big and new, okay? And you will save yourself a lot of time and a lot of second guessing and maybe a little bit of heartache if you visit these tutorials. So you'll see them here along here. You'll see them in the locations all over the software. And it's me doing a voiceover video showing you around the software. See, if you'd rather read it, you can read it here. It's all there for you. Some of them are really short, like that one's 1 minute. Okay, some of them are, I think they're all about like 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. One of them is 6, and that's the blending webinar. Okay, so they're all there. The other thing to say is if you're ever on the software and you're stuck, do not panic. Literally ask us. Enya Mann's the software. So she's on today, she'll be back tomorrow. And you just send Enya a message directly. Or if you want to try to find something, let's just type in blend. Let's say you're stuck on blending. Just type in blending. And anywhere where we have tutorial support, videos, articles, it'll all pop up here. And you can just go to the tutorial right there. Just you're not taking off the screen, it's all there. So we didn't just build LabAroma. We built this entire support site to help you. So it's just there. Now, if you're lucky enough to catch Enya during London-based hours, then great. You can have a chat with her. You can just send her a message. You can see all conversations. She's there. She's got this cute winky face. She's cute. And if you miss her, to send her a message and she'll pick it up. So never be on your own, okay? You make that smaller. You can also grab her here. It's the exact same thing, chat here, okay? That's on every page in the software. Just to remind you that you're not alone, okay? So I am going to take some Q&A, guys. I'm going to scroll back to the start. So throw your Q&A and I am all here to answer them. Was that good? Give me a show of hands. Was that helpful? If you want to grab those recipes, okay, good. Okay, good. Hello, Joanna. Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad that was helpful. If you want to grab those recipes, I'll show you actually, guys, if it's helpful. Our new blog is live and beautiful, in my opinion, and loads of fun. So it's an evolution, so it's getting bigger. If you go to LabAroma and you go to blog, there is blogs there. We are releasing them now once a week. So we started with cosmetic allergens, which is really interesting. We had to do COVID. Dogs, sleep and immunity, depression, loads of different ones. Then we started getting into, you guys had asked for recipes. So I'm now starting to write blogs with 10 recipes per blog every week. So you're keeping me busy. So, and I make all of those recipes and try them all and make sure that they're really good and they work. So I am busy. So there's aromatherapy diffuser blends. This is the one I when I was planning ahead for this webinar, I wrote that blog. So the 3 recipes I worked on tonight are in there, plus an additional 7. I think that's the one with 11, additional 8. Then we've got 10 massage recipes, aromatherapy massage oils, recipes for separation with dog anxiety. Oh my God, separation anxiety and dogs. And then obviously I had to write that for my puppy, which is Luna here. And then we have 10 aromatherapy recipes for anxiety because she has anxiety and then I have anxiety. So the blog is there. There's new blogs coming every week, so keep an eye on it, okay? And share it, and share to people who might find it really useful. So let me check your Q&A.